Can you hear me now? This is an incredibly beautiful showing of our community. I want to thank everyone here for being here in solidarity with Ali Sajad Faqirzada and his family in calling for Ali's release from ICE detention in New Jersey, a detention that has no basis in reason or in justice. I want to start by thanking the faith leaders of the interfaith community, and in particular, Reverend Marcella Gillis of the Christ the King Episcopal Church in Stone Ridge for bringing us together. Over 3 years ago, a group of committed community members known as the Afghan Circle worked very hard to help resettle Ali's family and another Afghan family here in our community. These families were allies of this country and feared for their lives under threat from the Taliban. In the time since, these families have grown deep roots, established very deep roots in our community. Ulster County is proud to be a welcoming place for them and for the many people who have come here over generations seeking safety and a new beginning. Ali is the last member of his family to appear before immigration officials in his quest for asylum. He followed every single legal step and was determined by those officials to have a credible fear of returning to Afghanistan, warranting an asylum hearing. There is no reason serving the public interest for his detention. None. We call for his immediate release so that he may return home to his community and his family as he awaits his asylum hearing. That is the only just and right course of action. I want to express my gratitude to every one of you who are gathered here this evening, unified in this call, unified in our support for Ali and his family, and unified in our support for all of our communities who live in this same fear. They are our community members, and we stand with them. I would like to bring up now Reverend Gillis, please, to say a few words.
Thank you so much. I am the Reverend Marcella Gillis. I'm the priest at Christ the King Episcopal Church in Stone Ridge. If you recognize me at all, it's probably because you've picked up a delicious Afghan dinner from me at some point, been forced to interact with me as you've come in. As we've continued over the past couple of years, our Afghan Ariana Feast, which has been such a delight and a blessing to our community in Stone Ridge and so far beyond. So I thank you all for your support in that, and can't wait till we're back up and running again. I also speak on behalf of the Episcopal Diocese of New York, our Bishop Matthew Hyde. For those of you who have seen and have been paying attention, our diocese has been tremendously involved in the work of creating and maintaining sanctuary for migrant and refugee families throughout the diocese. We're so blessed to have such strong leadership in these times, and I really want to just express my gratitude and my overwhelming gratitude to be part of a faith tradition that is really standing up to this moment in a really profound way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm also here just as a friend of the Faqirzada family and of Ali. And as I thought about what I wanted to speak to this evening, I realized it's been a month today, or I guess tomorrow, since Ali was detained. And I'm feeling the weight of the time. And I know many of us are as well. And the first couple of weeks, my inbox was full of support, of questions, of how can I help? What can I do? And it's been a strange grace in this to have things to point you towards, to say, write this letter, sign this petition, show up to this thing. Now we're at a month, and I can feel it because we don't really know what's happening. We don't know where we are yet. We don't know that we've made any progress. It's really hard to tell at this point. And this, for me, feels like an easy point where I could get disheartened or sink into despair myself. So the point I do want to speak to tonight to all of us is to acknowledge that this is a long road regardless. Not just for Ali, but for so many others like him. We are in this for the long haul. Clearly you are in this for the long haul if you are out here 2 nights in the cold. So thank you. This is a long journey for all of us who are committed to maintaining a social and a political system that respects and upholds the dignity of all human beings.
Yeah.
Now, what's been clear for a long time and has been crystallized for me in this particular situation with Ali is that we are up against a particular kind of evil that amasses and maintains power through making us feel fractured, disconnected, disempowered, and helpless, and frightened. The chaos that you feel, the overwhelm that you feel, the confusion is by design to keep us all in a state of panic and activation and disorganization and disconnection. So the word you're going to hear tonight, and a lot more, is the word solidarity. And I want to make sure we mean what we say and we know what we mean when we use the phrase solidarity. Because the simple act of gathering, of coming together, holds so much power in this moment. And the word solidarity gets thrown around, and I don't want it to become trite or toothless, because it is one of, if not the most important tools that we have to navigate this time together. Solidarity is what reminds us that we are all connected to each other, that our fates, our lives, our futures are bound up with one another's.
Yes.
But I also want to bring in a quote from the activist and the writer Astra Taylor, who says this: "Solidarity does not magically emerge as a result of our interdependence. It depends on our ability to describe what bonds us, who we are, what has value, and how we should live together." I'm going to repeat that. Solidarity does not magically emerge as a result of our interdependence. It depends on our ability to describe what bonds us, who we are, what has value, and how we should live together. When we gather, when we connect, when we speak with one another, when we draw on our faith traditions and our wisdom traditions, when we share our experiences, when we listen, we are describing what bonds us. We are describing and identifying who we are. We are showing what has value, and we are creating the ways in which we want to live together. So I hope we can carry that definition with us out into the night. What we are doing is active, it's practical, it's pragmatic, and it matters. The gathering is so important in a time where the power is gleaned from keeping us fragmented. And so I'm going to have us partake in a common Christian tradition of what we call passing the peace, and give you an opportunity to look around and really take a moment, spin your whole body around. Look who's here. And take a moment, and we do this in church every Sunday, and we share a sign of God's peace with each other. So greet your neighbors, introduce yourself,
Liam.
say hi, make a connection, gather strength and support.
Ryan.
for one another.
Megan.
Nice to meet you. My last name is Megan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ryan Megan.
Brian Megan.
I love it.
Now you're gonna have to change your last name to Ryan.
Meg Ryan. It's taken. It's already taken.
You'll be remembered.
All right, and as many of us Protestants know, sometimes the peace can go on for 10, 15, 20 minutes, so I will, at this moment, invite your attention back forward here. But make sure to continue these connections and conversations. Continue to move forward in solidarity together. I'll invite us all to take a breath together, to reconnect, to get organized. Take a moment. And I'll invite up Larry Bush from the Afghan Circle of the Hudson Valley.
It is all the way up, you know that for
So if you're here tonight, you know why we're here tonight, and there's no need to repeat the tale of what's going on. I want to speak to the word asylum, which is connected to hospitality and the mutuality of asylum and hospitality. You know, in the Jewish tradition, there are the twin sinful cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Many, many sins associated with Sodom. But the tradition says that the true sin of that city is refusing hospitality. Sodom is a very wealthy place. And this is what the citizens of Sodom say. We live in peace and plenty. Food can be got from our land. Gold and silver can be mined from our land. What need have we to look after wayfarers who come to us only to deprive us? Come, let us see to it that the duty of hospitality be forgotten in our land. The city's destroyed. When you visit the facility where Ali is unjustly held, where many, many people are unjustly held, you experience Sodom. You experience people saying, let's drive hospitality out of the culture, because it's so deliberately alienating. It's so deliberately dehumanizing. The same Bible that puts forward Sodom and Gomorrah more than 40 times in the 5 books of Moses says that we need to embrace the stranger. The Muslim tradition has 7 pillars of hospitality. Self-awareness is one, understanding of your own strengths, weaknesses, and biases as you prepare to interact with guests. Guest awareness, being perceptive to the needs of your guests. Connection, building a genuine relationship with guests through empathy. Authenticity, being genuine and transparent in your actions and communication. Anticipation, thinking about it all in advance so you address your guests' needs before they have to ask. Alignment, preparing yourself and your household to deliver a consistent, positive experience. And presence, being undistracted, not going off and looking at your cell phone, being present. The Christian tradition, this is a quote from Christine Pohl, a very interesting theologian, who talks about Jesus's guest list, including a disconcerting number of poor and broken people, those who appeared to bring little to any gathering except their need. Christian hospitality offers a generous welcome to the least without concern or for advantage or benefit to the host. So I just have to say, since joining the Afghan Circle, which for 2+ years put an enormous amount of energy into welcoming the Faqirzada to this remarkable and generous community, has made me such a better human being. They have made me such a better human being by the encounter with their hospitality, which is just beautiful and generous. And it's made me love this community so much more. So many business people who stepped up and offered help, and so many people who brought the pots and the pans and the automobiles and more to make this happen. There's an understanding that giving is a mutual thing. If you've ever hitchhiked and been picked up for a really good ride by a stranger, you know what I mean. If you've ever had dinner at someone's house and they really looked out for you and made you feel welcome. If you've ever been smiled at by a stranger and you realize that with all of the boundaries that we set up and with all of the tribes in which we live and with all of the difference, we recognize one another as worthy human beings who deserve dignity and respect and even love. The mutuality of hospitality is overwhelming to me, and the removing of it is incredibly cruel and incredibly requires dehumanization, which we're not going to give in to. So thank you for coming out.
Machalig more.
We're all in the trenches.
If you know it, sing with me.
Keep going.
Lo alecha machalig more. Lo alecha ligmor. Lo alecha machalig more. Lo alecha ligmor. Velo ata ben chori lidabel mimena. Velo ata ben chori. So we are not obligated to complete the task, but neither are we free to desist from it. Our tradition, Jewish wisdom tradition, is quite clear, as many faith traditions. We are called upon to protect the stranger, the refugee, the immigrant. The stranger who resides with you shall be to you as one of your citizens. You shall love them as yourself, for you are strangers in the land of Mitzrayim, in the land of the narrow places, whether it's a physical narrow place or the narrow place that inhibits the territory of our mind and our thinking and our biases and our isms of all sorts. Time and again, Torah repeats how we must treat the stranger. You shall not oppress the stranger, for you know the feelings of the stranger, having yourselves been strangers in the land of Mitzrayim. Exodus. When a stranger resides with you in your land, you shall not wrong them. The stranger who resides with you shall be to you as one of your citizens. You shall love them as yourself, for you are strangers in Mitzrayim. Leviticus. We are constantly reminded of our obligation to take care of those around us, to raise our voices in the face of oppression, and to treat everyone as we would want to be treated ourselves. Far from exempting us from this special responsibility, this is exactly the reason why we are called upon to show chesed, loving kindness, to immigrants in our midst. As people of conscience, every one of us out here this evening, we know that our histories, and we know where this leads if we do not stand up. And it is upon all of us to stand up in this moment right now. We call on the strength of our ancestors, and we call on each of our traditions, which teach us in different ways that we must never stand idly by. We call for the release of Ali from ICE detainment. Our family, or my daughter, had the privilege to know Ali, to help support his becoming a baccalaureate student at Bard College. And she'd come home and she'd say, like, Mom, like, he kind of knows everything. Like, I don't really, there's not a whole lot for me to do except, like, be in conversation. He's been a beloved member of that community as well. We know him as a thoughtful, caring, generous, and beloved community member, and he's taken all of the correct steps as an asylum seeker. I have a lot of writing, but everybody already said it, so I'm scrolling down. Yeah. We call for the immediate release of Ali from detention so that he has the opportunity to find further justice at an asylum hearing. Ali has deep ties to this community, and may he be released immediately to return home to his family, to continue his education, and pursue his asylum claim from within our community, a community that holds him and always welcomes each other so that we no longer are strangers. May it be so. Kenyi Hiratson.
May it be so.
Next, I'll invite up Victor Cueva, the Executive Director of the Ulster Immigrant Defense Network.
Sorry, I almost messed it up. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Victor Cueva. I am the first ever Executive Director at UATN. I want to start by saying that it is very, very moving to see this community come together. I want to share with you all that aside from being an immigration lawyer and executive director, I was also undocumented for 10 years in this country. So I also want to speak on behalf of the undocumented community who is too scared to come out and genuinely say thank you for the support that you're showing the Faqirzada family, for the support that UADN receives from all of you, for the immigrant community of Ulster County. Thank you. A lot has been said tonight. I know it's cold. I want to share a personal story of my relationship with the Faqirzada family and Ali Sajad. I've known them for a short time, but in that short period of time, I've been to their home a few times. Ali Sajad and Ali Mahdi have come to my house, and I know them to be amazing community members in a loving, tight family. I can't imagine the pain that they're suffering right now every single day that Ali Sajad is in detention. My father was hospitalized this summer, and it was a big toll on our family. He developed an infection that wouldn't allow the doctors to operate, so he had a prolonged stay at the hospital for about 2 weeks. My father was morally not doing so well either. He wanted to get out, he wanted to go back to work. And one day, after a week plus, Ali Sajad randomly walks in the door. I had no idea that he worked at the hospital. He had his mask on, and he recognized me and just asked, "Wait, is that your father?" And I said, "Yes." And I didn't know this, but they knew each other because they had worked together at different sites, at different places. And he pulled his mask down, and my father, who was honestly, I think, starting to get depressed, all of a sudden lit up. And they had this very great conversation with inside jokes. They badmouthed some previous supervisors. And all of a sudden, my depressed father had a wonderful 10 minutes of joy, of happiness. And it was all thanks to Ali Sajad's amazing personality and charisma. That is the person that currently is being detained by this administration unjustly, and it's just an atrocity that it's happening all over the country and in this community. I join all of you and everybody who has spoken tonight demanding his release, his immediate release from detention, because that is the type of person that he is. That is the type of community member and neighbor that he is. He has no idea what type of impact he had that night, not just on my father, but on me, because it was a stressful 2 weeks to watch a very strong man fall in despair because of his health, and he brought joy in that moment of need. I want to address briefly the Faqirzada family. I want to let you know and see this community, everyone that's come together to support you. This is a very difficult road, and we will be by your side should you need it. If you need us to be behind you as you look for support, we will be there. And if it need be, if we have to be in front of you to provide protection, we will be there as well. To Ali Sajad, brother, you have a very difficult path. You have to stay strong. You're not alone. We're taking care of your family. And not if, but when you are released, you will come home and we will welcome you with open arms. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next, I'll invite up the Reverend Tobias Anderson of Redeemer Lutheran Church here in New Paltz.
Good evening, everyone. Tobias Anderson has already been said from Redeemer Lutheran Church, and so many beautiful words have been spoken. Words have power, so does music. It was an interfaith gathering last year. I wrote a song, and the words are, we need peace, we need healing, we need grace. I feel like tonight we might replace that word healing, although healing is always needed, with justice. We need healing, we need peace, we need justice, we need grace. So I'm going to sing a line of this and hope that you're going to sing a little bit of it with me as well as part of this offering. So it goes, we need peace, we need justice, we need grace. We need peace, we need justice, we need grace. We need peace, we need justice, we need grace. We need peace, we need justice, we need grace. We need peace, we need justice, we need grace. Take a deep breath. Let it come from the deepest part of you. We need peace. We need justice. We need grace. We need peace. We need justice. We need grace. Now Ali needs peace. He needs justice. He needs grace. He needs peace. He needs justice. He needs grace. May we keep finding ways to rise up and not stop until the doors are open and the people are freed.
Amen.
An awareness of the time and the temperature. We're at 6:35. We're going to segue. We have a couple more things, and then we're going to segue out into whatever is next for you on this chilly evening. We are going to invite up now the Reverend Limina Grace Harmon from New Connections Methodist Church here in New Paltz to lead us in a closing benediction. And then we will finish all out together with some more music from Tim Hunter. As you are departing, if you'd like to take your candle home as a reminder of this night to sustain you, I mean, I'm sure you have a couple of these at home as well, but take this one home with you. Remember this moment and draw strength from it when you click it on at home. Keep it in your window. If you don't want to, you can leave it on the table here behind me, and I will make sure it goes to a beautiful church home where it will serve the same purpose. I thank you all so much for your presence here tonight, for your solidarity, for your support. It means absolutely everything.
Thank you, Marcella. I am Reverend Limina Grace Harmon. I am here as both the county legislator for the village of New Paltz, but also as the pastor of New Connections United Methodist Church. I want to say one or two things wearing my legislative hat, and then I'll slide into my pastoral one because that's how I roll. Beloved, prophets are historians who pay attention to the news. Think about that. Prophets are just historians who pay attention to the news. They know what will happen next because they know what happened before. This is not an administration. This is not just. This is a coup.
Yes.
This is a coup. And unless and until we are prepared to reckon with that reality, this will keep happening. There will be Ali after Ali after Ali after Ali. It will not end. Unless and until we take up our prophetic mantle and pay attention. That being said, I guess I started where I said I was going to end, but that's okay. That being said, a couple of tools for solidarity. We've done this once or twice before, but I want to put a spin on it. Everybody breathe in, breathe out. We just conspired. We are conspirators. We conspired together. None of us can breathe without the other. So there is no us, and there is no them. We talk about justice, but I'm not sure we know what we mean. And we don't have time to really dig in tonight, but I will say this. If it is justice, it can never be just us.
Yes.
That is not a thing that can exist. Justice that is just us is no thing.
Yeah.
That's a toolkit for solidarity. And finally, from my faith tradition, from communion and the Lord's Prayer, when we eat with unexpected people, we have a responsibility one to another. That's what a hospitality culture means. So the people who show up, who seemingly have nothing, have everything. Everything, because they teach us what we don't know in our sheltered bubbles.
Yes.
Right? We have nothing. They have everything. Thanks be to God for that. If only we can come to the table looking for justice, not just us. And with that, let us take a brief moment of reflection before we leave in song. Creator of the universe, we give you thanks for this gathering tonight, for people who seek justice, who long for mercy, whose hearts break for another. God, we ask that you would go where we cannot, but also that you would take us where we can go. So that we're not just seeking justice, we are bringing it. We are dragging it. We are conspiring together to be agents of your peace. And above all this night, may your sweet and gentle hand rest on Ali, so that he knows we are here. He feels that he is not alone. And he is strengthened by your love and our care. And let our care be more than words, but turn to action. All this we pray in the name of the one who made us. Go in peace to seek justice.
Amen.
Amen.
So be it.
Jose and Maria, El Salvador, Eritrea, little baby in their arms. Running from war, starvation, and more. Get little Jesus away from harm. Oh, we can't sleep and play. They believed in the American dream. Came from somewhere else, just like you and me. Better lives on their families. Now we call poverty they had to flee. Like you and me, they want to be and let free. How is that illegal? How is that illegal? Whoa, whoa, how is that illegal? I'd like to know. How is that illegal? Whoa, how is that illegal? I'd like to know. This verse of my grandparents. Tessie and Nick fled the Bolshevik after serving the water and all wars. Queens, New York built a life. Took Tessie as his wife. Had 3 daughters and it was police ball. She punched the air at Hitler's speeches and cried for what was to become of their old land and the ones they left behind. They believed in they from somewhere else, just like you and me. Better life for their family. Now we call them illegal. Across a river or across the sea. Violence and poverty they had to flee. Like you and me, they want to be let be and free. How is that illegal? That is not illegal.